If you've spent real time practicing Fanny, you already know this feeling. In practice mode, things feel controlled, your cables connect, your movement makes sense, you feel capable. Then you cue ranked, and somehow that version of you disappears. This video is about why that happens. Not because you're bad, not because you panicked, and not because ranked is unfair, but because practice and ranked test completely different things. Quick filter before we go further. This isn't for beginners. If you're still learning basic cables or movement, this will feel abstract, and that's fine. This is for players who already put in hours, who can execute in practice, but feel like everything collapses when it actually matters. If that's you, nothing is wrong with you. Most players assume this split means they're inconsistent, or worse, unreliable. They start thinking, I guess I can't perform under pressure. But that explanation is lazy. Because if pressure were the problem, practice wouldn't work at all. The fact that you can do it in practice already tells us something important. Your mechanics exist, they're just not accessible yet. Practice and rank aren't different because of difficulty. They're different because of conditions. In practice, time is generous. Mistakes are cheap. You can correct mid-action. Rank removes all of that. Decisions stack faster, consequences arrive immediately, and there's no space to repair mistakes on the fly. That doesn't mean rank is harder. It just means rank is stricter. This is where most players get misled. Practice does help, but only up to a point. Practice builds access. It does not guarantee reliability. Here's why practice feels so convincing. In practice, mistakes are cheap, nothing punishes them, so when something works, your brain treats it as proof, not because it's stable, but because nothing challenged it. Practice doesn't just hide weakness, it protects you from noticing them. You can reach execution in practice by compensating, by slowing slightly, by adjusting mid-action, by fixing mistakes after they start. That feels like control, but it's actually correction. Rank doesn't allow compensation, so what felt like control in practice was often correction, and correction disappears under speed and pressure. Pressure doesn't break mechanics, it removes choices. When pressure rises, you don't get to decide how to execute, you get what's already installed. That is why high-level players often struggle to explain what they're doing. They'll say things like, it's just muscle memory. What they really mean is this: execution happens without conscious access. At speed, there's no time to think through inputs, so whatever your body defaults to is the answer. That's why rank feels brutal, not because it sabotages you, but because it reveals your defaults. Practice asks, can you do this? Rank asks, will you do this automatically? This is why rank collapse hurts more than failure. It feels personal. You know you can do it, you've seen it work, and when it disappears, you assume the problem is you. But the problem was never effort. It was never confidence. It was never mindset. It was that your training stopped before reliability was built. Here's what happens next if nothing changes. You go back to practice, you clean things up again, you feel ready, then rank collapses again. And here's the part most players miss. After collapse, people don't fix the wrong thing because they're careless. They fix the wrong thing because the right lever is invisible. Speed is visible. Volume is visible. Ranked games are visible. Reliability isn't. So players pull the levers they can see. More reps, more games, more speed. Not because it's correct, but because it feels actionable. Over time, this loop teaches the wrong lesson. You stop trusting your training. Then you stop trusting yourself. That's how ranked anxiety forms. Not because rank is stressful, but because your preparation never transfers. The fix isn't more practice, and it isn't tougher mindset. The fix is training that changes conditions, not just repetition. Progression has to remove compensation. It has to narrow margin for error safely. And it has to test reliability before rank does. That's what makes skills portable. Practice didn't fail you, it just never finished the job. Rank isn't exposing weakness, it's exposing what wasn't stabilized yet. If you want a structured progression for fanning, one designed to make practice actually transfer into rank, I'll link that below. It's not for beginners though, there's no rush, and it's meant to be followed at your own pace. If you'd rather keep experimenting on your own, that's fine too. But if you want rank to stop being a surprise, that option is there.